College football now. Harrison Graham and James Yoder here. The second to last college football playoff rankings have just come out. We'll bring them to you, and we will react to them as well. James, two main questions on the night once we entered this week's rankings. Who would be 2, Michigan or Bama? Who would be 5, Oklahoma State or Notre Dame? Michigan gets the nod at number 2. Oklahoma State gets the nod at number 5.
Yeah, and Oklahoma State, now I feel like they are rooting for Alabama to win that game. I'm sorry, for Georgia to win that game
definitely Georgia.
over Alabama. Yeah. And then you would have potentially, if Michigan and Cincinnati hold serve, it's Georgia versus Oklahoma State, Michigan versus Cincinnati. That could be your college football playoff semifinals if everything else, if nothing crazy happens there. There it is. And Harrison, you and I will be here 12 o'clock Eastern Sunday. Remember, this is the last Tuesday show. The games all happen on Friday and Saturday, the conference championship games. Sunday, noon Eastern, we will be live on both these channels as long as Michigan beats Iowa, of course. If they lose, I don't know if I'm going to even be here if they lose, honestly, Harrison. You might be doing this show solo. It might be you and Jack and Brett. Whatever. 12 o'clock Eastern on Sunday. We'll do the college football playoff top 4. A little later, we'll do all of the college football New Year's 6 bowl games. And then later in the day, we will bring you every single bowl matchup from the 2021 college football bowl slate. So it's going to be an exciting Sunday for us here at College Football Now by Chat Sports.
Yeah, so make sure you subscribe. Don't miss any of our college football coverage. We'll sprint through the rest of the rankings. They don't really matter at this point. Ohio State at number 7. Ole Miss, for some reason, jumped Baylor to get up to number 8. Baylor playing for a Big 12 title. They're number 9. Oregon at number 10. We'll break down 11 through 25 shortly. But you look at the map here, James, as long as Georgia beats Alabama, you can pretty much slide Oklahoma State into that win and get in category. The question would be, if Bama beats Georgia, is it just the 4 teams on the left if the other teams hold serve? I think that would probably be it. Maybe Bama would jump up to number 1, and then Georgia falls to 2 or 3. That way they can avoid the first-round rematch.
Yeah, they're going to avoid the rematch as much as they can because we're already facing this thing with this season. I think you and I, and maybe a lot of people watching, would say this is a college football season that is finally exciting because you just don't have the same 3 or 4 teams in for 6, 7 seasons. But if it turns out to be Cincinnati and Oklahoma State, you might run into a ratings problem. So I do know that they would definitely want to avoid a Georgia-Alabama rematch in the semifinal because people would be like, oh, I already saw that game happen. That's stupid. I don't want to see that. So I think no matter what happens, the committee will avoid if Alabama beats Georgia, making them 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3, so they have to play in the semifinal. They would slate it, so those teams would, if they both won the semis, would face again in the national championship game.
Now, Oklahoma State got the nod in the second to last college football playoff rankings, but who should be ranked higher? I believe the committee got it right with Oklahoma State, but maybe you disagree. Type 1 for Notre Dame, type 2 for Oklahoma State. Go ahead and let us know what you guys think on this one with Oklahoma State being ranked higher. I think if they win, there's no way Notre Dame can re-jump them. Now, today's show is sponsored by our sportsbook partner, BetUS. If you want to go bet on Championship Saturday, there's only one place to do it. That is BetUS. You got to use our link, though, to take advantage of the awesome promo deal, which gets you 125% deposit bonus. Chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo code CHAT125. Put down $100. Get $125 for free. You can also bet on the wild Heisman Trophy scenario because who the hell is going to win this thing? Bryce Young's the favorite. I don't know who the best value is because I don't think Bryce Young's going to beat Georgia. But if you're feeling confident, C.J. Stroud plus 400 odds, put down $4 to win 40. Maybe that's a decent play. Kenny Pickett put $10 down to win 140. That's how the betting works based on those odds. Chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code CHAT125. James, real quick, let's sprint through 11 through 25, and then we will go ahead and talk more about the top 6.
One note on that, BetUS isn't showing the Aiden Hutchinson odds that high because they don't want me to bet it because they know I'm going to win. That's the rules there. Michigan State, BYU, Iowa, who will face Michigan in the Big Ten championship game, Oklahoma without a coach, and then number 15, Pitt, to round out the top 15. Let's take it to 16 through 20. Wake Forest, Utah, who will face Oregon in the Pac-12 title game, NC State, San Diego State, shout out Brady Hoke, and Clemson. Wow, what a turnaround for them. I mean, look, you take a lot of shots at Dabo, you take a lot of shots at their offense in the year, but now they are at 20 in the year, and they're shaping up to potentially be a top 10 team again going into next season if they get that offense turned around. 21, is the Houston Cougars. They're playing Cincinnati, right? This is the conference championship game there, so upsets are possible. It could happen.
Yep.
Arkansas 22, Kentucky 23, Louisiana Lafayette at 24, and then Texas A&M at 25. They're just taking any SEC team that didn't
put 'em in there.
get blown out in the last 2 weeks and just shoving them in the top 25. It seems what is happening.
That's how it goes. Grade the rankings. I don't really care about 11 through 25 this late. I actually think they got the top 6 right. That is exactly how I ranked them. That's exactly how I would have ranked them. So I think the teams that matter, the teams that are in the hunt, I think they got it right. So I would actually give this an A grade. How would you grade it, James?
Look, Michigan's number 2. I can only say it's an A+ grade. They got it right. They ranked Michigan over Alabama, and not even trying to be a homer. I think
no, that was the
you
correct
get
move.
a big win, and we've seen it before with plenty of teams. That's why we say if Alabama were to beat Georgia, they would of course be in, but they would pop to number 1 because they beat number 1 and they would have 1 loss.
Yep.
Michigan would have 1 loss. Georgia would have 1 loss. Of course, Cincinnati would be undefeated, but I don't think Cincinnati is going to jump to number 1. So it's all really going to come down to the SEC title game is the most intriguing one in my opinion because it's got 2 teams, right? It's not in my opinion. It's a fact, right? That is a fact. 2 teams that will likely, the winner will be in the SEC title game, and if Georgia's the loser will be, in the college football playoff. So I'm really excited to see that one. That one's kind of your mid-afternoon matinee leading up to the Big Ten championship game between Michigan and Iowa on Saturday night. Let's take a look at these resumes, Harrison. Take us through Michigan, Alabama, Oklahoma State, and Notre Dame.
Yeah, I mean, because you look at Michigan, Bama, that was kind of the debate: who would be 2, who would be 3, and then on the right side, who would be 5, who would be 6. I think Michigan's metrics and the way they looked when they beat Ohio State would tell you that they were more worthy of jumping up. That's why they jump up. That's why Bama slips back. Bama still has a good resume, but you watch Bama this year; they're very beatable. I mean, a bad Auburn team should have beaten them. A bad Florida team almost beat them earlier in the year. This is still a good Bama team. This is not, dropping 50 points a game with Mac Jones last year and winning the national title by 4 touchdowns. That's not this team. There's no doubt about that.
The one thing I struggle with when it comes to the Heisman is if you say C.J. Stroud, if you say Bryce Young, are they the worst quarterback either of those schools has had in the past 6 or 7 years? I would say yes, without a question, right? And if one of those guys wins the Heisman, that feels wrong to me. Neither one of those players has come in and made their program better. If you could say anything that's made their program a little bit worse, it's not maybe their fault. But Tua, he didn't win the Heisman. Justin Fields didn't win the Heisman. And those guys were remarkably better than the 2 quarterbacks, at least in a season versus what those guys were this year. So I would, if Bryce Young beats Georgia, he wins it. I'll be fine with that. If he loses, though, this is one of the wilder Heisman races we've ever seen in our entire life.
Reminds me of the year where Jordan Lynch got invited. Remember they invited 8 finalists because they didn't know who the hell was going to win. I don't even know who won it. The Navy kid got invited. I don't even remember who won it.
It's not the year Jabril Peppers got invited.
It was the second. Yeah, it was the second Johnny Manziel year. The year after he won it.
Okay.
We also got the Big Ten championship game. I think it's simple. You win if you're Michigan. You lose, you're probably out. I mean, you can't lose to Iowa if you're the Michigan Wolverines. I will say it would have been nice had they beaten Michigan State. They wouldn't have to worry about it as much.
Yeah, they might be Michigan had they beat Michigan State. It could be either way you're in, win or lose. But Michigan is an 11-point favorite. I've said this on Michigan Football Report. It is inconceivable. If Michigan were to lose this game, it doesn't take anything away from them beating Ohio State. But I think the Michigan football fan base would literally just be it would be in shambles, the amount of shambles you can't even imagine.
Yeah. Iowa's offense is just putrid. There's no doubt. AAC championship. I actually think this one, I think Cincinnati will win, but Houston's won 11 games in a row. I mean, they have not lost since their first game against Texas Tech. They've been rolling offensively. Cincinnati's played better the last few weeks, James, but at times they've kind of messed around and not looked great. So I think this one is more chance of an upset alert than the Big Ten title game. So we'll have to wait and see how that one shakes out. That one will be going at the same time as the SEC title game, so not a lot of eyeballs on this one. So it'll be interesting to see how that one shakes out. Plus, keep an eye, Luke Fickell, Notre Dame rumors, they're going to be circulating. And then the Big 12 championship game, I feel good about where Oklahoma State sits, but Baylor's been a good team all year, and Oklahoma State already beat Baylor. Hard to beat a team twice in the same season.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, look, I have a great read on this game, Harrison. Baylor, Oklahoma State. These are 2 teams that, frankly, I have this tendency to write off teams once they lose a game. I'm like, that team is terrible. They're not going to make it at the end of the year. And if they don't come across my path and a Big Ten team, etc. So I don't have a great read on this game. I didn't think Oklahoma State would beat Oklahoma. They did. And Baylor, I'm just like, okay, it's Baylor. What are you going to do there? So what happens here? Oklahoma State, though, wins. They're just an Alabama loss away from being the CFP. Who would have predicted Oklahoma State or Michigan in the CFP just 3-4 months ago?
What's crazy about this matchup is a couple years ago, that would just be a spread out first team to 50 points wins. They're actually both like physical defensive teams now. It's very, very bizarre. Most likely to lose this week. Type A for Alabama, they face Georgia. Type M for Michigan, they face Iowa. Type C for Cincinnati, they go up against Houston. Type O for Oklahoma State, they go up against Baylor. Who is the most likely team to lose this week? Let us know. And just to recap, this is the top 6 and the second to last college football playoff rankings. The rankings heading into championship weekend here in college football. Georgia's number 1. Michigan's number 2. Alabama's number 3. Cincinnati 4. Oklahoma State 5. And Notre Dame sitting there at number 6.